Now let's see some of the important functions in list. So we have this default built-in methods. There are few methods we can apply to list as well. So let's check if there are any methods we can apply to list. Okay, and here if you can find the len function, which is length, the length can be applied to a list. Okay, so our list has 5 elements, so the length is 5. Also you can apply this mean and max functions to list. So the max of list is 5 and mean of list should be 1. Okay, but for the list there are dedicated functions only for list type, and we can find all these functions using the dir command. And just give any list and you see there are a lot of functions starting with append, clear, copy, count, and so on. So I'm going to explain each of these functions because each function is very important and should be knowing all of them. So the first function is append. So append function adds an element at the end of a list. Okay, so let's say we have this list and I want to append a number 6. So what you can do is just say 6. Now if you print list, you can see this number 6. Okay, so the next function is clear. So this function was common pictured in Spark 3.3. So if you're using a version prior to Spark 3.3, you won't get this function. Okay, so if you're having Spark 3.3, you can practice this function. Now the clear function, it removes all the elements from the list. So we have this list, okay, and if you type clear, now see the list is empty list. The difference between the clear function and the delete function is, in the delete function, it will remove the list completely. Now let's apply delete, you won't get anything. But in a clear function, it's more of truncating the list, okay, and returning an empty list. Okay, now the next function is copy. So the copy function will return a copy of the list, and there is some concept behind this copy function. Let me explain it. So let's say I have got this list, okay, it has got 3 elements, apple, banana, and cherry, and if you just type list2 equal to list1, you can still get a copy. Now list2 is also having the same elements, but the problem is both of these lists are pointing to the same address. So you can use the id function to get the address of this list1 and also the address of this list2. As you see here, both the addresses are same. Now if you change list2, the list1 will be impacted. So this is not recommended. So in Spark 3.3 and onwards, they have created a new function called copy. Now you create a new list, list3, as a copy of list1. Okay. Now if you type the ID of list3, the ID is different. Now list1 and list3 are entirely different. You can maintain or manipulate both the lists separately. Okay. You can also use a list function to create a list. Let's say list4 equal to list of list1. So let's check the ID of list4 and the ID of list1. So both are different. So you can use the list function, or you can use the copy function to get a different copied list. But if you want to maintain the same address list, you can use the equal operator. Okay. Now the next one is the count function. In the count function, we return the number of elements with a specified value. So let's say we got this list 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, so let's say we want to know the number of times the 3 present in the list, just one. Okay, now the next function is index. Index function just returns the index of the first element with a specified value. So let's say we have this list, and here you can, okay, let's see 3. So what is the index of element 3, which is 2? Okay, for better clarity, let's now declare a list with some alphabets. Now if you are finding the index of element C, which is 2, okay, 0 1 and 2. Now the next function is insert. The insert function is mainly used to add an element at the specified position. So we have this list, you want to insert. So as as we discussed before, the append function would append an element at the end. But if you want to insert an element in the in the middle of the list, you can use the insert function. So just tell where you want to insert. Let's say I want to insert in the 0th position. And what do you want to insert? I want to insert X. Okay, now check the list. So in the 0th position or 0 index, the X is inserted. And the next function is pop. Pop is mainly used to remove the element at the specified position. So we have this list. Okay, let's pop. So by default it would return the last element, but if you want you can give some index as well. Okay, so the index 3 is C element, so the C is popped out. Okay, and like pop we have a function like remove. You can remove that item with a specified value. So in the pop function you're giving an index, but in the remove function you have to give the element name directly. So let's say B. So the B would be removed. Okay, and we have one more function called reverse. It will reverse the elements in the list. Okay, and there is one important function, sort, which is used in Python a lot. So I'm going through all these functions because all these functions are used a lot in Spark. Okay, especially the sort function is used in a lot of places, so you should be knowing it. So let's say I have this list 5 7 9 10 or something. Okay, 1. Now you can use the sort function to sort the list. Now the list is sorted. In Python there is one more function called sorted. This sorted function can be applied to any iterable. Okay, let me check. Yeah, so as you see here, the sorted function can be applied to any iterable including list and tuple. Okay, and it returns the new list containing all items from the iterable in ascending order. Let me give an example, and this is really important because we have used this function in a lot of places in Spark. So let's say I have got this list, okay, some random elements in it. Now if you want to just sort this list, you can use sort or sorted method. So the sort method works like this, list.sort. Okay, but the sorted method is very dynamic method. You have to apply the sorted method like this. Okay, so the iterable has to go inside the bracket of the sorted method. Now this list is sorted. One thing noted here is the list will not change it, only the output will change. Okay, so the list is unchanged, but the sorted list, only the output will be sorted. Okay. Also, the sorted function would take one more argument, a function argument. You can apply the function to each element, okay, and then sort it. Let me give an example. So let's say I have this list, Spark, Python, Java, C, etc. Okay. So let's say I want to sort this list, okay, with the length of each elements. The length is 1, your length is 4, your length is 6, your length is 5. So I want to sort this array using the length of each of these elements. Okay, what you can do is use the sorted method and pass the list, and this sorted method also takes one more argument, which is a function. Okay, so here the function is length. So the function could be any user-defined function, or could be built-in functions, and could be lambda functions. Anything is fine. So you have to give the name of this parameter, which is key. Okay. Now you see here the length is 1 for C. So C is sorted. The length is 4. The length is 5. The length is 7. You can also give an order. So the order key name is reverse. Here you can pass true or false. If you by default it is false, but if you pass true, it will do the sorting in descending order. Okay, so it can have at least three parameters. One is the list itself, one is the key, which is a function, and a reverse, which will be true or false. So that's it about the list type. In the next chapter we are going to see what is a tuple.